If you're looking for a deck that's unique, fun to play, and the average price for each card in the deck is less than $1, then look no further than KADENA Slinking Sorcerer. KADENA is a 4-mana Sultai 3/3 Naga wizard that lets you play Morphs cards for free, and when you do, you get to draw a card. As of recording this video, outside the printing of this commander, we last saw Morph cards printed over 8 years ago. So let's have a quick recap of what Morphs are and how we can abuse them. Now bear with me, as Morphs are a little bit wordy, and I'm going to explain it as clearly as possible and as simply as possible, and hopefully answer any questions you may have. And if you already know how Morphs works, well, stick around as you might learn something new. Morph is a special ability that is printed on certain cards. You may cast the card face down for 3 generic mana instead of paying its mana cost. You can then turn it face up anytime by paying its morph cost. Some important things to note. A morph creature is a 2/2 creature with no text, no name, no subtypes, and no mana cost, meaning spells like Spell Snare cannot counter this, cards like Rune Halo cannot protect you from this creature, and spells like Luminescent Rain cannot be used to your advantage or disadvantage. Also, Morph is not an activated ability. It is a special action and doesn't use the stack, so cards like Pithing Needle cannot stop you from morphing, and you can morph to get around cards with Split Second. We may as well also touch base on Morph's sister ability, Manifest. Some cards will make a player manifest. Usually this means taking the top card of their library and placing it face down on the battlefield as a 2/2 creature with no name, no text, no subtypes, and no mana cost. Then, its controller may turn it face up anytime by paying its mana cost on the face side, but only if it is a creature. If it is a morph card, a player may pay its morph cost instead. And with that out of the way, the next question is, well, what's the game plan? Firstly, we want to abuse KADENA's ability that lets us cast morphs for free. To do this, we need to be able to cast creatures at instant speed. Then, using the card advantage we gain from KADENA, we're either going to lock our opponents out of the game or just overwhelm them with unblockable attacks from our creatures. Oh, do you know what time it is?
Alright then, it's morphin' time! Dragon Sword! Mastodon!
Pterodactyl!
Triceratops!
Saber-tooth tiger!
Tyrannosaurus!
Yeah!
I'm going to go over all of the top morph cards for this deck. Don't forget, there's a full deck list in the description down below. To help us deal with creatures, we've got a Fetto Exterminator, a 3/1 that when it's turned face up, it gives another creature -3/-3. Next we've got Bane of the Living, a 4/3 that allows us to give all creatures -X/-X, where X is the amount of mana we pump into this morph. Following that, we've got Salumgar Assassin, a difficult to block morph that destroys a creature with power 3 or less. Next up is Skin Thinner. It's just a Doomblade on a creature. For artifacts and enchantment removal, we have Anok Survivalist and Natuko Vigilante. For protection and counters, we have Keru Spellsnatcher, Mischievous Quinar, both of which can copy counter spells and copy other key spells. Kaden Silencer, perfect against Yarok decks. Misfire Weaver can give something hexproof, while Willbender can redirect spells away from you and your permanents. Stratus Dancer, Void Mage Apprentice, and Void Mage Prodigy are more counter spells on a body. For utility morphs, we have cards like Chrome Shell Crab, which can be traded for your opponent's best creature. We can use both Echo Tracer and Ice Feather Avon to return opponents' annoying creatures, or use it on our own so we can play them again for additional value. Sagu Mauler is just a hard to deal with beatstick alongside Death Miss Raptor, which just keeps coming back when anything morphs. Death Miss Raptor is both an excellent attacker and blocker thanks to its Death Touch ability. We're also utilising Grim Haruspec for card draw, but keep in mind this isn't our only source. In addition, we're using Den Protector to fish out any cards from our graveyard that might have ended up there. And our final morph card for this section is Gift of Doom. This morph is a great way to protect one of our creatures as it gives them indestructible, and as an added bonus, they also get Death Touch. Now don't forget, morphing is a special action that doesn't use the stack, so this ability can't be countered, and no player may take any actions between the time you announce that you're turning it face up and the time it attaches to a chosen creature. Okay, so that covers all of the morph cards in this section. Now let's go over the other support creatures. So with our supporting cast, we're looking to do a few things. Firstly, we're looking to take full advantage of KADENA's ability. An important thing to note is that the ability says the first face down creature spell you cast each turn costs 3 less to cast, not the first face down creature spell you cast during your turn. So we're going to give our creatures flash and try to cast morph creatures every turn, so not only do we get to cash in on that discount, we also get that sweet card draw. The main ways we can give our creatures flash is with Teferi, Mage of Zephyr, Vivian, Champion of the Wilds, Leyline of Anticipation, and Vedalken Orrery. Leyline and Orrery effectively do the same thing, but Teferi gives your creatures flash as well as slowing down all your opponent's spells to sorcery speed. Vivian not only gives our creatures flash, it also allows them to stay on defense by giving one of them vigilance and reach, and she also allows us to dig for creatures too. Vedalken Orrery is the most expensive card in this entire list, but because it's colourless, it can go in nearly any deck, so it's a very safe and strong pickup either way. This is also why we've included Wilderness Reclamation, the budget version of Seaborn Muse, so we can cast another round of spells during one of our opponent's turns, or we can simply save the mana to potentially pay a morph cost. Another excellent support card is Ixradon, a 5 mana illusion that comes into play and turns all other non-token creatures face down, turning them into 2/2 creatures with no abilities. Ixradon is amazing at getting around Hexproof, Shroud, and indestructible creatures. It also lets us reactivate all our morphs. Speaking of reactivating morphs, Temur Sabertooth lets us return a creature to our hand while giving us an indestructible creature, which of course is great for defense. Crystal Shard is a real annoyance on opponents' creatures in the early game, as they need to make sure to leave 1 mana open for that fresh creature they just played, unless they want it returned to their hand. In the late game, Crystal Shard serves as a nice way to reset morphs and pseudo-protecting our creatures. Both of these cards would pair amazingly with Seaborn Muse, but then again, what doesn't? To ensure we have a fistful of cards to cast, we've got the ever-important Beast Whisperer. Secret Plans not only protects our morphs from Elesh Norn, it also draws us a card when we flip a creature face up. Trail of Mystery fetches a land for us when playing face down creatures and helps us go on the offense when we flip creatures face up. Ugin the Ineffable gives us cost reduction on all our morphs, card draw, and permanent removal, which is fantastic. For some more unique card draw, we've got Primordial Mist, which manifests the top card of our library at the end of our turn. And then we can exile any face down permanent we control, and then we may cast it. So Primordial Mist not only generates a creature for us, which we can then cash in for an actual creature, you can also use Primordial Mist as a weird pseudo protection. If someone goes to remove a face down morph creature, you can simply just exile it. And if we have one of our flash enablers, we can go ahead and just cast a spell anyway. Then there's Whisperwood Elemental. This 5 mana 4/4 also manifests a card at the end of our turn, and we can sacrifice Whisperwood Elemental, which gives our face up non-token creatures, when this creature dies, manifest the top card of your library. So if someone goes to wrap the board, we can just sacrifice Whisperwood Elemental and manifest a bunch of new creatures. And the last card from this cycle is Thieving Amalgam. which manifests the top card of our opponent's library at the beginning of their upkeep. And, as an added bonus, if those creatures die, the opponent loses 2 life and we gain 2 life. If you can protect this card for a single turn cycle, you're highly likely to win the game. Speaking of winning, okay, so we've played our Morphs, manifested a bunch of creatures. What's next? Well, we're going to turn them sideways, but not before making these 2/2s into scary threats that are a pain to block. For starters, we have Sarif the Viper's Fang. Not only does she protect our creatures by giving them hexproof when they're untapped, but when they're tapped, and likely attacking, they get Death Touch, which of course is a pain to block. And having creatures attack every turn is excellent for us, as we have Beastmaster's Ascension, which can quickly buff our 2/2s into 7/7s. Our next card is something a little bit more unsuspecting. Crafty Pathmage. For 3 mana we get a 1/1 that can tap and make any creature with power 2 or less unblockable. And while this goes well with our manifests or morphs, it goes really well with a certain clone morph that we have yet to speak about. Stay tuned. And finally, once we've chipped down our opponent's life totals, we can easily finish them off with a simple, overwhelming stampede. Nice and easy. Now, if you still need a little bit more just to get you across the line, there are 2 really nice combos we can play. In the deck list, I've only included one of the 2 combos, but you can easily swap out a couple of cards if you like and add it in. The first combo we have involves Vesuvan Shapeshifter and Brine Elemental. Let's quickly go over both cards. Vesuvan Shapeshifter is a clone morph. You can either cast it as a normal clone spell for 5 mana, or cast it down for 3 generic and turn it face up at any time and clone something for just 2 mana. The best part about this card is that it allows us to turn it back face down and reset our clone at the beginning of our upkeep. The second piece of this combo is Brine Elemental. Brine Elemental is a 6 mana 5/4 with a morph cost of 7. When it turns face up, each opponent skips their untap step. To activate this combo, we simply need both cards on the battlefield, with Brine Elemental face up, Vesuvan Shapeshifter face down, and 2 available mana. With this setup, we can indefinitely skip our opponent's untap steps. We simply turn Vesuvan Shapeshifter face up, copy Brine Elemental, activate its triggered ability, and then turn it face down again at our upkeep. The best part of this combo is, thanks to Morph, our opponents literally never see it coming. The second combo requires Ruthless Ripper, a 1 mana 1/1 morph with Death Touch that you can turn face up simply by revealing a black card in your hand, and when you do, target player loses 2 life. Combine that with a free sacrifice outlet like Carrion Feeder or Vizira Seer, and have Eudora Grave Gardener on the battlefield, who says whenever a non-token creature you control dies, you can return it to the battlefield face down and it becomes a forest land. With these 3 pieces set up, you can infinitely sacrifice Ruthless Ripper, have it come back as a forest, turn it face up, and have someone lose 2 life. Simply just repeat that cycle until everyone is dead. You can also swap the sacrifice outlets for a Temur War Shaman, and make Ruthless Ripper fight a creature every time it's revealed. With this additional card, you can kill every creature on the battlefield. Excluding the cost of lands, this deck sits just under $100, but there are plenty of upgrades you can add to the deck. To make the deck more consistent, just add any of Black's amazing card tutors. Seedball Muse pairs nicely with everything in the deck. Oran Frostfang is an excellent card that gives your attacking creatures Death Touch and allows you to draw a card when they deal damage to a player. You can also include key black and green staples such as Craterhoof Behemoth and Toxrill the Corrosive. If you want to see the last remaining cards we didn't cover in this video, mostly ramp and removal, don't forget to check out the link below. Now that you've got some ideas, how about checking out another Commander deck video? Thanks for watching, leave a like if you enjoyed it, and be sure to vote on the upcoming poll to have a shot at your favourite commander getting a deck tech. Thanks for watching, I'll see you next time.